Their own chart. Thank you for that information. I appreciate it.
And that is your signal. Okay, here's your sign. Time to start the meeting. Welcome to the Amarillo Chipmunk Society meeting. I think we've heard that the recording started. So, first things first, we have a guest that wants to join us, Mr. Doug Morgan. How are you?
Good, thank you.
All right, this is your last chance. Going once, going twice.
He doesn't know what he's getting into. What do you explain to the?
Traditionally, after the third meeting, we take a straw poll, discuss it intensely, and decide whether you are a worthy opponent. So, in this case, I say, what the hell?
These discussions generally last days. Are you gonna make the decision just on that?
Just on that.
Wow.
Well, welcome to the club, Doug.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And you will be receiving next month or whenever a to be displayed, suitable for framing certificate of membership. How exciting.
Appreciate it.
Any other guests today? Greg, you've been to these meetings?
I'm not a guest.
That's Joe Lorenzo.
Oh, yes, hiding in the
No,
shadows.
he's not a guest. He's a member.
Oh, I know.
We can't see for sure.
You need a light there.
It's like one of those. You look like one of those anonymous witnesses or anonymous interviewee. You know. You
All
have
right.
the voice altering sound box too.
We don't really have a whole lot to talk about today. Just a couple of procedural issues to take care of. Other than that. Oh, do we have another guest straggling in? Well, as you know, today's Tuesday. Tuesday. All righty. So I hear that you're convalescing well, Greg. How's Mary doing? All getting over it?
Yeah, we're fine. A little thick in the throat, otherwise fine.
I think as skipper, I have to appoint a couple of people just procedurally. And photographer would be Mr. Ron. That would be correct. For photographer?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
And John, I think you are to be officially notified of your duties. That's also correct.
Thank you, sir.
As editor. So let it be so. As most people knew, the IPMS show was last Saturday, 2 weeks ago. It was a good show. We had a great showing of people there, and a couple of our own took home some prizes for their work. John and Maureen. Oh, you didn't? Oh, who? Kevin, that's right, Kevin.
Thank you, Ed.
No, you put me in the beginning.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
Who else?
Kevin. Kevin and Bob Moritz. Yeah. Any corrections to the last meetings? You dare. I don't think that they can get any better than they have been. So Stuart, you have got a pen, lots of ink, good. No corrections. All right, Ryland, how much money we have?
Okay, treasurer's report. As the end of February, we had $4,302.41 start off the month. Collected $12 in auction proceeds. Also collected $126.99 dues. And total receipts of $138.99. We had a disbursement for a fence for the bandsaw and modeler's booth of $36.99, leaving us a balance of $4,404.41. And I am now, during March is the start of our new fiscal year, so I'll be collecting dues. I've already received payments online, and also, I've gotten some checks and cash here today, so we'll start that process, and hopefully it'll be completed over the next couple of months here. Thanks a lot.
How did we get dues round up to 99 cents?
If somebody has a partial payment, an expense, in other words, they had a bill that was reimbursed but applied to their dues.
I got you.
Mr. Tim Wood is.
Yeah.
So next month, next year, he'll owe 12, almost 1 cent.
Is he good for it?
All right.
I hope so.
Any old business that we want to dredge up and kick around? No, no more old business to reincarnate? No? Good, good.
Webmaster's report, perhaps?
Oh,
As long as it's quick.
okay. If you want to get in line
As
there,
long as it's quick?
I will put you right up there. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if I like the qualification on the quickness issue. Can you enable screen sharing? Oh, can you enable screen sharing, please?
I think you have to do that universally for everybody, right?
Let's see. Where is screen sharing?
Um,
Down to the left of the push.
It says it's not working?
it says host disabled participant screen sharing. I don't know if you have a settings thing or if it's directly under screen share. Might be in options.
Yeah, I've got multiple participants can share simultaneously.
Why don't you try that?
That's not the one you need, but there's one about who can share.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
There we go. Now I have it. All right. Okay, so I've been quite busy. I don't know who it was that wanted me to do this quickly, but luckily for you, my throat's still a little thick. I don't want to talk for too long anyway. I did add one model. It is Mr. Ficklin's first model on our website. So if you go, he is now listed along with everyone else. I have his Philadelphia up there. I pulled the pictures from the NRG site. Is Joseph in the room today? It's not online. No, okay, too bad. Well, he did a really good job and he took really good photographs. I didn't have to doctor him up at all, so that was cool. There's something wrong with the way the gallery of images is displaying. I've sent a bug report. Hopefully they'll fix it. There's nothing I can do anything about. Anyway, so I won't go through every picture here, but feel free to visit the website and see Joseph's work. Okay, I added one museum to our listing of museums, and it's now on my bucket list. That's pretty good. So go into references, go to museums, do this by map. It is north of LA somewhere, yeah, in Oxnard, Port Hueneme, the Channel Islands Museum. So if you're ever in the LA area, this looks like it's worth a trip. They have a whole collection of models like this made by the same guy. It looks like he did some excellent work. And it's also in some good wine territory, head up to Santa Barbara, get yourself some juice.
Even better.
How did I need to? All right, so I added a lot of other clubs. The NRG has a listing of clubs, but at least 2/3 of them are defunct. It's kind of a horrible list. And I don't know. I don't know if we need to have the world's best listing of clubs, but I'm doing it because I can. And because it's more up to date. So like if you're ever traveling and want to hit somebody else's club, I'm working on the list of them. And there's an alphabetical list. And when the club has a logo, I've included it just so it makes the site a little bit nicer to look at. It's not just text. And now if you go to the clubs, we're maintaining copies of their newsletters. There's it's a minor thing, just added their logo to this page. So again, it's not just a bunch of boring text. So, so there were some shop notes that were just kind of miscellaneous fun stuff like Christmas Eve fruitcake or little jokes or whatever, things that were shop notes. So I moved those to a separate category here on the menu, miscellany. And I added a few things recently, like just a listing. Mr. Hardcore member, got John's license plate. And then this, I had a few things that I had, so like this used to be a shop note under the category of digressions. Now it's just a miscellaneous blog post thing, which is more appropriate. And I had some things on the computer kind of waiting to be posted, and they kind of didn't have a good home, which is why I did this. This is a funny one. When the club got a behind the scenes tour of the museum, there was a model in a heavy moving blanket, wrapped up in heavy moving blanket to keep it safe. And someone in the museum made this little poem and had it on top of there. A boat model this be, it is a session C, part of the collection and under protection. Do not place any stuff on the blanket's fluff around and on top of the model. I thought that was funny. So, anyway, so if you ever have some miscellaneous stuff that's amusing enough to bother posting, send it to me and I'll put it here. And last but not least, per request, I tightened up the roster listing a little bit so that it's a bit more printable. You don't need to use quite so much paper. I think Jean mentioned this. So all this information used to be in one column, and I split it into two, so a bit smaller.
Right.
Yep.
I haven't looked, but do we have a list like for all the museum ships that are around?
Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't looked, so just yes is sufficient enough for me. That's all I need.
Yeah, but I'd like to show you how that works. So if you go to museums, you can sort by type and location. And if you're interested in all museums, then that's the default. But if you only want museum ships, then you can set the filter to ship. If you're only interested in original ships rather than replicas, you can choose between those two.
Thank you, sir.
So, yep. Yeah, so it's another listing I'm trying to expand on. And by default, you only get 5 per page. Just make sure you realize that it's not all of them. And you can change it to 25 per page. And it's also available as a map. So if you're traveling, it's easier to see on a map what's close by as opposed to a listing of everything in California. It doesn't help if you're in San Diego and the ship's up in San Francisco. And then behind the scenes, I've described our website as using WordPress, which is kind of like your amplifier. And then you have to add on to it things like DVD player, record player, CD player, whatever. But one of the add-ons, there's only one of the add-ons that we're paying money for yearly. And the price kept going up. It started out $30 and it's $40 and it's $50. And I said, enough is enough. So I found something that's a worthy replacement. It's a one-time $40 fee. You'll never pay for it again. That was a lot of work, but it's nothing you guys will see. It's just maintenance stuff. And with that, I'm done.
All right, thank you, Greg.
Nice.
Good. Hey, Greg, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
The poetry thing, you
The
talked
what?
about the bit of maritime model-based poetry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That the box that had the ship in it, was that looked like a votive model that had gone through a fire? Was that the one?
No, you couldn't tell. It was completely wrapped up in a moving blanket.
Right.
So you had no idea what was in it.
I think I know.
Okay.
All right, moving on to new business. Anything you guys need to talk about? Oh, we got, okay, what's up?
All right, this is real quick. Greg just showed the mug shots of all of us members and their mug shots. If you would like particularly to have a shot of you at a workbench or holding a ship model or something of that nature that's different from just a shop, I'm more than happy to accommodate you. Otherwise, the mug shots are fine, but I like to update that a little bit.
I think the mug shot's better for the roster because you can see more of a face. If you're a workshop picture, your head's gonna be a small fraction of the photo. But those pictures are good for the we used to call Modeler of the Month, and Gene wants to resurrect that under a different title, I think. And then those pictures, we'd rather have something where you're working at your shop or whatever,
Right.
more of an action photo.
All righty, is that it for business? No, that was, we kicked the old business to the curb. That's where we are, new business.
There you go.
Do we need any, is there any new business? Any more new business? No?
I would like to encourage everybody to stay if you can after the meeting and enjoy. This is one of the biggest the Valley Hampton Roads Weekend. One of the most successful things that museums had running for a long time now. But if you want to get around and see what's going on, there's some 3D printing going on in conservation. There are a lot of lectures going on, stuff like that. So if you would just take a walk around the museum before you leave.
All right, very good. Well, before we get to the show and tell portion, I have a presentation to put out there. Stewart, Mr. Stewart.
I didn't do it.
Please come on. Please come on. Please come on up. This is our first ever, hopefully our last, presentation of this type. The Hampton Road Ship Model Society. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. The skipper of the Hampton Road Ship Model Society, pursuant to the authority vested in him by the membership, has on this day awarded the Order of the Wounded Modeler. Established by skipper Gene Berger at Hampton, Virginia, 21st of February this year. Awarded to Stuart Wynn, member HRSMS. And the citation continues to read, for injuries received whilst in the conduct of HRSMS business during the operations on 11 February 2023, the city of Newport News, given under my hand, the city of Newport News, we present to you the Order of the Wounded Modeler.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. And it says on the medal, Ordo de Vulgaratus Exemplar Factorum. Presented to you.
Which means what?
Order of the Wounded Modeler.
More or less.
And for those-
that on him.
Can we show the
Yeah. And for those of you online, here is his certificate. And Stuart?
And I will step in here and demonstrate my wound.
Goodness.
That's a doozy, Stuart.
I'm growing a horn.
Show your medal. The medal, yeah, pin the medal on him.
One medal.
Oh, is it those cross Band-Aids? Are those cross Band-Aids?
Cross banding.
Gotta do the handshakes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, yes.
Photo.
Yes.
All right.
Excellent, thank you.
All right, we need a good photograph of that for the website for sure.
The people online know what happened.
I left my mark on the museum.
Well, hopefully this will be the last.
Yes.
Okay, you don't want to collect.
Well done.
All right, well, that concludes the business. Stop recording. And we'll get to the show and tell briefly. Oh, that's all right.